Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It is Wednesday, December the 5th. The year's 2018. Let's talk trading. Hunting for trades. I was listening to a podcast from another trader this morning, and he was talking about how he would go about selecting stocks and researching the stocks. And it kind of reminded me why one of the reasons why I switched over to the foreign exchange. But it also made me think that, even within the foreign exchange, there's what, 25 or so different pairs you can trade. But, usually I only look at two or three. And then traders want to know, well, how did you select those three? And why do you stick with those three? And what about this? And what about that? And one of the other things this trader I was listening to, he was talking about the news. And so I was thinking, yep, there's news trades. In fact, today, there's a news trade that I'm going to go over with you. But when you're doing news trades, it's just like any other trades. You have to have your money and risk management in place. Now, we can just take a quick pick here at the monthly. You see we're 6 pips below the monthly open. Okay, but we're 73 pips off the low. So we push down and we bounce back. And remember, yesterday we had, what was it, about 8 or so gaps that hadn't filled. So now we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps that haven't filled. Now, as I mentioned, news trades. One of the things that really will make currencies move are economic reports such as NFP, which is coming up this Friday. And actually, I thought ADP was coming out today, and that's why I was looking at the news, and it's like, wait a minute, why isn't ADP today? Well, for some reason, it's coming out this Thursday. I don't know if they've moved the ADP to Thursdays or not. But when I was looking, there was this big red news on dollar Canadian. And anybody who's, been following me for the years knows that I like to trade dollar Canadian. Well, you can see here we had a huge move this week, and just today we popped over the weekly high. And if you look at the daily, you can see here we broke out of yesterday's high, and we put in a whopping high, 127 pips above today's open. A range of 146. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pairs over 100. So this was a news trade. So when the news just came out, what was it? A couple of hours ago. So you can see here, there was a buy signal, and that was it. But right here on this news trade, if you were trading this news trade, I mean, you could see right here, there was the break. Right, it's 132.94 area. So you could almost just take in the double O. So somewhere there you could see, hey, this price is running. It's above the daily open and above the weekly open. So that would have been a very simple trade based on news. You just enter the trade. So the funny thing is I kind of stumbled upon that accidentally because I was looking for different news, but I saw that instead. So you might want to put down a part of your daily preparation, because that's something else that this trader I listened to was talking about, his preparation and how, he has to go through his morning routine. And one of the things was checking news, checking Twitter, checking some other chat boxes, which I find, personally, I find most of that to be an annoyance, because then it's going to bias me, because it's better for me to trade neutral, not having a bias at all based on anything. I just want to trade what's in front of me. So, if this price gets to the line, I don't want to be thinking about, well, the news said this or the news said that because blah, blah, blah. No, price is at the line. I enter the trade. I can always go back and look and figure out what happened, but that doesn't matter because it's already happened. Some people like trading those news events and trying to get in here in the squawk box, 3 seconds before the rest of the world so they can place their trade. I mean, yes, there is an advantage to it, but chances are you don't have the bandwidth or the connections, electric or personal, to get that type of news, get that 3 to 5 second advantage or whatever. You just don't. So I wouldn't suggest you try to take advantage of it. So we can put the charts back to the euro yen, and you can see here what's happened today. We went into the previous day's wick zone, and you see we came out of it. On the euro yen, you see the pivot, you see the open. There was a trigger if you wanted to jump in early there. Right here, there's a trigger, there was a trigger, there was a trigger, there was a trigger. Well, technically that's a pro trigger. But the idea was to fade the pivot, which paid off nicely. Rats, right here, you can see we're in the upper rat zone, so a Larry live trade 0.23 is a short. Let's just pop dollar Canadian up there. You can see right here we've got a 33.79 Larry live trade short opportunity on the rat zone. See this big candle right here? I would look to see a price at least come down to the midpoint, if not close that candle by the end of the week. That's just how I analyze the chart. And once again, you see we hit the pivot and we took it out. So we still only have 2 missed pivots for the year. Oh, I should do something here just for the sake of it. On the dollar yen, you can see here we've had 5 missed pivots. You see this one got taken out. So the last one happened back on October the 30th, which is where? Right here. And just for the fun of it, you can see here we filled that pivot on dollar Canadian right there. We've got a missed pivot here. And so far, 5 misses for the year. Price action trading, same as every day. 1 ball at the bottom, green at the line. Excuse me. 2 ball at the top, red at the line. 1 ball at the bottom, green at the line. But remember, unless you're a pro trader, experienced trader, wait for the next candle. 5 lines off the previous day. A lot of action around the midpoint right here. The wick zone, in and out. Very simple. Once again, you see it hitting that midpoint. And the holo setup right here, 128.39 is the short currently. That's the trade to look for. That would be a Larry live trade. On the inventory reduction bars, we got a 0.33 short signal, and it looks like we've got a long signal signaling a breakout to the upside here, and it looks like 0.419. Though I might be a tad bit skeptical to take that trade, because you can see here we're bumping up into this area, which would probably push it back down, because you can see what happened, how fast price moved the last time it hit that area. Previous daily, weekly, monthly, open, high, low. There you can see the crossing of the lines. Once again, buying opportunities, very simple, very simple. Since I've been flipping the chart, you can see here the tick chart's been switched over, but we did have the blue line here, the bid, crossed above the lowest ask, and you can see here it's up about 5 pips since then. And here on the Einstein lines, simple trigger right after I see after last time I clicked the chart, and you're up about 4 pips, 3 to 4 pips on that trade. There was something else. As I was listening to that trader, I was looking over the charts, and it made me, I think it was it dollar Canadian? I looked at it. What I was going to tell you is, you see how we have an inside bar here on the monthly? Right there, how price broke out of that last inside bar. And I was starting to think that I think I might have to put up a chart showing the inside bars of monthly and weekly, because they don't happen that often, but when they do, usually they get pretty good signals. Let me see. I think maybe it was on the euro yen when I first saw it too, because see, here's an inside bar on the weekly. There was a chance to take a small profit there. And you see here on that breakout of the inside bar also. So once again, they don't happen that often, but it's just something to take a quick look at. Just add another trade to your arsenal when you're hunting for trades, because there's always a trade. Every level you can probably find some significance to that level, and what it all boils down to is what happens after you place the trade. There's nothing, after you place the trade, nothing that you did before it affects the outcome of the trade, with the exception of if you get stopped out, you placed your stop loss in the proper position. So that's pretty much it when we talk about hunting for trades. There's plenty of trades out there. I've given you many systems, and you don't have to use any of them. You can use your own. But as you do, you just have to remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So for the rest of the week, rest of the year, rest of the month, get out there and drain the banks.